Hey guys, by now you should have watched 3 or 4 videos from me and you're pretty familiar with what your options are. But at this point, whether you're buying a house tomorrow or going looking this weekend or you're planning something down the road, you need to think about financing. And the reason is, if you're going to buy a resale home, you have to come into that home with a pre-qualification letter in advance and in order to make an offer. Now, I can show you the homes, but you want to make sure you're looking at homes in a price range that you can get approved on, right? If you already know what you can get approved on, great, but you're still going to need a letter, whether it's from your mortgage broker or someone I can recommend to you, right? Now, if you want to buy a new house, you can go also look at the houses without the pre-approval letter. But in order to actually go into contract and buy a house from a builder, the builder is going to recommend that their mortgage broker qualifies you. Now, in the cases where the mortgage broker of the builder has a special deal and they're saying, well, if you go with us, we'll give you a lower rate or we'll pay your closing costs or something, right? Then you want to use their broker, but you want to know what it's going to take to get qualified, because you don't want to look at a house and fall in love with it and find out you can't even remotely pay for that house. What is the payment? And will the bank lend you the money? So in either case, new houses or resales, you want to sit and talk to me first. I can introduce you to the builders and introduce you to the builders' mortgage people, or I can introduce you to my mortgage people who will get you a letter so you'll know ballpark in advance what you're going to be approved for, right? Then you can go shopping for prices in that range instead of, again, wasting your time and energy looking at something you really shouldn't be buying. Now, here's a quick and dirty rule for what you can qualify for. The mortgage brokers are going to ask you 3 different categories. Number 1, they want to see your income. And if it's a W-2 income, like you have a job, usually your pay stubs will do it. But if you own a business or you're an independent contractor, they may ask you to show bank statements and tax returns, right? They want to see how much money you make. And if you're married, how much money your spouses make. Or if someone is co-signing for you, how much they make, right? So the income is the first component. Second component is going to be your credit score. Now, here are the 2 magic numbers, guys. If your credit score is above 580 on the average of your different credit companies, you will be able to get approved for a house if you meet the other criteria, okay? And if you're a little under 580, usually the mortgage brokers can give you free advice on how to get your score above 580. Now, with a 580 score, you're going to need 3.5% of the purchase price of the house. So on a $300,000 house, rounding numbers, you're looking at about $10,000. You would have to have that in the bank or have a co-signer or someone in your family who's giving you a gift for that amount of money for your down payment. Now, if you're a veteran, you do not need the down payment, right? You can literally walk in there with 0 down. That's one of the benefits of being an approved veteran. Now, let's say you're not a veteran and your scores, your credit scores are above 620. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you can be eligible for a first-time home buyer's loan. However, as you might imagine, if they're lending you 100% of the price of the house, they want to make sure you're a slightly better credit risk. So the minimum score for that is going to be 620. If you have 620, you don't need the $10,000, $11,000 down. If you don't have 620, but you have 580, you need to get your hands on the down payment or get your credit above 620. And of course, if someone's co-signing with you or if there's a spouse in on the purchase with you, they're also going to need to have that good credit, right? 620 is not that high, but it's high enough if you're down at 550 that you're going to have to do some work, right? So the second criteria is your credit score. The third criteria, and some people get knocked out of the game on this one, is your debt ratio. So they look at two ratios. The first ratio is they're comparing the mortgage that you're going to pay each month to how much money you bring in each month in your income, or you and your spouse's income, right? And they're going to calculate a ratio and say, hey, does this guy or gal make enough money that we feel they'll be able to pay that debt from their income? And they simply give you a yes or no score in that category. So even if you have great credit and great income, but if your debt on that particular house would be too high, you could get disqualified. Now, lastly, they're going to compare your debt on that house, which is the mortgage, plus your other debts, right? Your credit card debt, your car payment, your other kind of little trinkets. You have a house, a motorcycle, and not a house. Usually you're not going to have that house, but you might. But a motorcycle, something that is a large item that you put on credit. A lot of people have multiple vehicles on their credit cards, right? Or on credit per se. So now they're going to take another ratio. They're going to say, what's the monthly payment on the house? What are all of your other monthly payments? And how much are you making? Is your income enough to support all of that? And so you may have a great credit score and you may be making a great income, but it's not enough to support all those debts. So they'll tell you, hey, we'll lend you the money if you pay off that motorcycle, or if you pay off your Macy's credit card, right? And some people have other little problems like, oh, there was a delinquency with Verizon, or there was a credit dispute with this company, and they may say, well, handle this one way or the other, get it done, we'll help you, and then we'll approve you, right? So you can get a kind of contingency, and then once you solve that problem, then you're approved, and then you can buy the house. So as you see, there are three main components: your income, your credit scores, and your debt ratios. If you want me to help you figure out a ballpark approval, I can do that on like a rough back of a napkin calculation. If you want me to introduce you to a licensed mortgage broker who will calculate it down to the penny, just call me. I have people who will help you right away. Call me on my cell, 505-250-5807, and I will explain everything in this video. And if you'd like to, I'll introduce you to a professional that can help you. Okay, guys, talk to you soon.